Admiral Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the USS Liberty, watching the stars through the huge windows. His heart filled with pride as he looked at the peaceful sight. After 20 years of hard work, humanity had finally earned their place in the Galactic Council. It was a dream come true for everyone on Earth. "Admiral, we're getting close to Nexus Prime," said Commander Ryan Blake from his station. The young officer had been Jake's right hand for the past 5 years. He was smart, brave, and always ready to help his fellow humans. Jake nodded and straightened his uniform. Today was important. The Galactic Council was meeting to discuss new trade agreements between Earth and the other worlds. Humanity had so much to offer the galaxy. Their medical technology could save millions of lives. Their farming methods could feed hungry planets. Their music and art brought joy to beings across the stars. Lisa Harper joined them on the bridge. She was Earth's best diplomat, a woman who could talk to anyone and make them feel like old friends. Her job was to make sure humans got along well with all the alien species in the galaxy. "The council members are excited to see us," Lisa said with a smile. "The Crystalline Collective wants to buy more of our medicine. The hegemony of suns is interested in our farming robots. Even the Zephyrians seem friendly today." Jake felt good about this. The Zephyrians had been cold to humans for years. Their leader, High Chancellor Vex Korath, always seemed suspicious of Earth. But maybe things were changing for the better. The USS Liberty docked with Nexus Prime, the huge space station where the Galactic Council met. The station was bigger than most cities on Earth. It had been built by dozens of different species working together. Jake thought it was beautiful, with its crystal towers and metal bridges connecting different sections. As they walked through the corridors, Jake saw beings from all over the galaxy. There were the rock-like crystalline people, the tall blue Zephyrians, the small furry creatures from the outer rim, and many others. Most of them nodded politely to the human delegation. Some even smiled. The council chamber was enormous. Hundreds of representatives sat in curved rows, each species in their own section. The humans had been given seats in the middle, a place of honor that showed their growing importance in galactic politics. High Chancellor Vex Korath stood up to speak. He was tall and thin, with blue skin and large black eyes. His voice was deep and serious as it echoed through the chamber. "Fellow council members," Korath said, "we have gathered today to discuss a matter of great importance. For 20 years we have welcomed the humans into our community. We have shared our knowledge with them. We have trusted them with our secrets." Jake felt a chill run down his spine. Something was wrong. This was not the speech they had expected. "But today," Korath continued, "we have learned a terrible truth. The humans have betrayed our trust. They have been secretly building weapons of mass destruction, planet killers that could destroy entire worlds." The chamber erupted in shocked voices. Jake jumped to his feet. "That's not true!" he shouted. "We would never build such weapons." But Korath was ready. He pressed a button and huge screens appeared around the chamber. They showed what looked like human military bases on secret moons. There were massive weapons being built, ships designed for war, and documents with Jake's own signature approving the projects. Jake stared in horror. The documents looked real, but he had never seen them before. The bases in the videos were not human bases. The weapons were not human weapons. Someone had created fake evidence, but it looked perfect. "This cannot be real," Lisa whispered beside him. Her face was pale with shock. Commander Blake was already working on his tablet, trying to contact Earth. "Sir, I can't get through. All our communication channels have been blocked." The other council members were shouting now. Some called for immediate action. Others demanded explanations. The chamber filled with angry voices in dozens of different languages. Korath raised his hand for silence. "The evidence is clear," he said. "The humans pose a threat to all life in the galaxy. They must be stopped before they can use these terrible weapons." "You have to listen to us," Jake pleaded. "We are not your enemies. We came here in peace. We have never wanted to harm anyone." But the vote was already being called. One by one, each species voted. The Crystalline Collective voted yes. The Hegemony of Suns voted yes. The Outer Rim Alliance voted yes. Even the small, peaceful species that humans had helped voted against them. The final count was unanimous. The Galactic Council authorized immediate military action against Earth. Jake felt his world collapse. Through the chamber's windows, he could see the massive alien fleet gathering outside. Thousands of ships from dozens of different species. All pointed toward Earth. Please, Lisa begged the council. Let us warn our people. Let us evacuate the civilians. Korath shook his head. The threat is too great. Any delay could allow the humans to use their weapons first. Security forces surrounded the human delegation. They were tall, armored beings that Jake did not recognize. Their weapons were already drawn. You will be relocated to a safe facility, one of the guards said through a translator device. You will not be harmed if you cooperate. As they were led away, Jake managed one last look at the fleet outside. He counted over 3,000 ships. Earth's defenses were good, but not that good. His home world, with its blue oceans and white clouds, would not survive such an attack. The humans were taken to a holding area deep inside the station. Through a small window, Blake could see the alien fleet jumping to faster than light speed. They were heading for Earth. How long do we have? Jake asked quietly. Blake checked his watch. At their best speed, maybe 6 hours. Lisa sat down heavily on a metal bench. Tears ran down her face. 4 billion people, she whispered. Our families, our friends, our children. Jake put his hand on her shoulder. He wanted to comfort her, but what could he say? They had been betrayed by the very people they thought were their friends. Someone had planned this perfectly, creating fake evidence and blocking their communications. Commander Blake moved to a corner of the room. Jake thought he was praying, but then he saw the small device in the young man's hands. It was a quantum communicator, something that should not have been possible to hide from their captors. Blake caught Jake's eye and nodded slightly. Maybe, just maybe, someone would get the warning in time. Maybe not everyone on Earth would die today. But even if some humans survived, Jake knew that everything had changed. The galaxy was no longer their friend. The trust they had built over 20 years was gone. If any humans lived through this day, they would remember what had been done to them. And someday, somehow, there would be consequences. Captain Alex Stone was checking the mining reports when the message came through. He had been running Frontier Base for 3 years now, managing 50,000 miners who worked the dangerous asteroid fields at the edge of known space. It was hard work, but the pay was good and the people were tough. The quantum communicator beeped once, then went silent. Alex frowned. These devices were supposed to be impossible to detect, but they rarely worked properly either. He almost ignored it, but something made him check the message. His blood went cold as he read the words on the screen. Earth is gone. Council betrayed us. Fleet of 3,000-plus ships attacked 6 hours ago. Fake evidence of planet killers. All major cities destroyed. Estimated 4.2 billion dead. This message sent before capture. Rendezvous point Nebula 77 Alpha. Tell the colonies. Blake out. Alex read the message 3 times before it sank in. Earth, humanity's homeworld, was dead. The beautiful blue planet where he had been born, where his parents still lived, was nothing but burned rock floating in space. He called an emergency meeting of his senior staff. Word spread quickly through the mining station. Within an hour, every human on Frontier Base knew what had happened. Many cried. Some got angry. A few just sat in shock, staring at nothing. What do we do now, Captain? Asked his second-in-command, Chief Engineer Kate Brown. She was a practical woman who had helped build half the mining equipment on the station. We follow the message, Alex said. We go to the rendezvous point. But first we need to contact the other colonies. It took 2 days to reach everyone. The agricultural world New Haven responded first. Maya Chen, who ran the farming operations there, confirmed that her 200,000 colonists had received the same message. Her voice was steady, but Alex could hear the pain underneath. We're already packing, she said over the long-range communicator. The Zephyrian trade ships that usually buy our crops just canceled all their orders. They know what happened. Dr. Peter Hayes at Kepler Station took longer to respond. The Deep Space Research Facility was hidden in a dark nebula, and their communication equipment was designed for secrecy rather than speed. When he finally answered, his news was both good and terrible. We saw the attack on our long-range sensors, Dr. Hayes said. The alien fleet hit Earth with everything they had. Nuclear weapons, plasma cannons, particle beams. The surface is completely dead. Nothing could have survived. Alex felt sick. His younger sister had lived in New York. His best friend from school worked in London. All gone, but Dr. Hayes had more to say. However, we may have options that the aliens don't know about. Can you make it to the rendezvous point? We need to talk in person. Over the next month, human colonies across the galaxy abandoned everything they had built. Mining stations, farming worlds, research outposts, trading centers. Millions of humans packed what they could carry and headed for the secret meeting place. Nebula 77 Alpha was a dark cloud of gas and dust that hid everything inside it from normal sensors. As Alex's transport ship entered the nebula, he expected to find empty space and a few other refugee ships. Instead, he found something impossible. There was a planet inside the nebula. Not just any planet, but one that looked almost exactly like Earth. Blue oceans, green continents, white clouds, and surrounding it was the biggest space construction project Alex had ever seen. Huge shipyards stretched for thousands of kilometers. Manufacturing plants the size of cities floated in perfect formation. Defense platforms with weapons that made Earth's military look like toys. And ships. Hundreds of ships, all bearing human markings but designed with technology Alex had never seen before. "Welcome to New Terra," came a voice over the communication system. "This is Admiral Morrison. I know you all thought I was dead. We needed the galaxy to think that. Please dock at Platform 7 for debriefing." Alex could barely believe it. Admiral Morrison was alive. More than that, he was standing in the command center of the most advanced military facility in the galaxy. How? Was all Alex could manage to say when he met the Admiral in person. Morrison smiled, but it was not a happy smile. 20 years ago, when we first applied to join the Galactic Council, some of us worried about putting all our people in one place. We remembered the history of Earth. How many times humans had been wiped out by wars, diseases, disasters. We decided never to let it happen again. Dr. Hayes joined them, along with Maya Chen and representatives from dozens of other human colonies. As they gathered in the conference room, Morrison explained the truth. Project New Terra was started in secret 15 years ago. We found this nebula, terraformed the planet inside it, and began building defenses. The official reason was scientific research. The real reason was insurance, Maya spoke up. But the technology here is impossible. These weapons, these ships, this manufacturing capability. Earth never had anything like this. That's because Earth wasn't the only place where humans were doing research, Dr. Hayes said. All our deep space facilities, all our hidden labs, all our secret projects were connected. While Earth was playing politics with the aliens, we were preparing for the worst. Morrison activated a holographic display that showed the galaxy. Red dots marked the locations of alien military bases. Blue dots showed where human colonies had been. Most of the blue dots were now dark. They thought they killed all of us, Morrison said. They thought wrong. There are still 12 million humans alive in the galaxy. Not as many as the 4 billion they murdered, but enough. Enough for what? Alex asked, though he was starting to understand. Morrison's smile got colder. Enough for justice. They destroyed our world. They killed our families. They celebrated our extinction. But they made one very big mistake. What mistake? Maya asked. They assumed we would roll over and die like good little victims. They don't understand humans very well. We remember our enemies. We remember what they did to us. And we never ever forgive genocide. Dr. Hayes pulled up another display, this one showing technical specifications for weapons and ships that looked nothing like human technology. For the past 2 years, while they thought we were all dead, we've been busy. We've reverse-engineered alien technology. We've improved upon it. We've built things they can't even imagine. Morrison stood up and walked to the window. Outside, more refugee ships were arriving every hour. Each one brought humans who had lost everything but their lives. The galaxy thinks humanity is extinct. They're wrong. But by the time they figure that out, it will be too late for them. Alex looked around the room at the faces of his fellow survivors. He saw pain, loss, and grief. But he also saw something else. Determination. Anger. The cold, calculating fury of people who had been pushed too far. "What's the plan?" he asked. Morrison turned back to the group. "First, we finish gathering our people. Every human in the galaxy needs to know they have a home here. Second, we complete our military preparations. Third, we begin teaching the galaxy a lesson they will never forget." "What kind of lesson?" Maya asked. Morrison's smile was terrifying. "The kind that explains exactly what happens when you try to exterminate the human race." 2 years after Earth's destruction, General Vex Korath sat in his private office reviewing security reports. As the military leader who had planned the attack on humanity's homeworld, he expected to feel satisfied. The human threat was gone. The galaxy was safe. His people were heroes. Instead, he felt worried. The reports on his desk all told the same strange story. Important people were disappearing. Not just anyone, but specifically those who had been involved in the Earth operation. Military commanders, government officials, trade leaders, all gone without a trace. At first, Korath thought it was coincidence. Important people sometimes disappeared for political reasons. Enemies, business rivals, criminals. But the pattern was too clear to ignore. Commander Thex Voller had led the attack on Earth's North American continent. Last week, security cameras at his heavily guarded compound showed him going to bed normally. In the morning, his bedroom was empty. No signs of struggle. No broken windows or doors. He had simply vanished. Admiral Zeph Kryn had commanded the fleet that destroyed Earth's space defenses. 3 days ago, she was attending a state dinner with over 200 witnesses. She excused herself to use the bathroom and never came back. Security found the bathroom empty with no other exits. Trade Minister Yex Boren had celebrated Earth's destruction by selling human art and artifacts at huge profits. Yesterday, his personal transport ship was found floating in space, completely empty. The crew, the passengers, the guards, all gone. The ship's computers showed no record of anyone leaving. Korath called his security chief, Colonel Rex Vorn. "I want triple guards on all our important people. I want sensors everywhere. I want to know if a mouse moves without permission." "Yes, sir," Vorn replied. "But sir, our best security couldn't protect the others. Whatever is taking our people, it's like they can walk through walls." That night, Korath had trouble sleeping. He kept thinking about the human delegation he had seen on Nexus Prime 2 years ago. The shock in their eyes when they realized what was happening. The way Admiral Morrison had begged for time to warn his people. Korath pushed the memory away. He had done what was necessary. Humans were too dangerous to let live. The fake evidence had been perfect, convincing even his own scientists. The attack had been quick and clean. It was better this way. His personal communicator chimed. Colonel Vorn appeared on the screen looking panicked. "General, we have a problem. Secretary Neck's phone is missing from his estate. All the guards are unconscious but alive. They don't remember anything. And sir, there's something else." "What?" "We found a message carved into the wall of his office. It says we remember Earth in perfect Zephyrian script." Korath felt ice in his veins. That was impossible. All the humans were dead. They had made sure of it. Across the galaxy, other species were having similar problems. The crystalline collective's mining baron, Prism Lord Quartz 7, vanished from his crystal palace despite being surrounded by an army of guards. The hegemony of suns lost 3 of their high solar priests in a single night, all taken from different planets. The pattern was clear to anyone who looked. Everyone who disappeared had played a role in Earth's destruction. The attackers were specifically targeting those responsible, but that was impossible. The humans were extinct. Lisa Harper crouched in the ventilation shaft above General Korath's bedroom watching him sleep. She had been there for 3 hours, studying his routine, memorizing his security setup. After 2 years of this work, she had become very good at staying invisible. The prison transport that was supposed to take her and the other diplomats to a colony. World had suffered an accident. The official report said all prisoners died when the ship's reactor exploded. The reality was that human special forces had rescued them, but not before Lisa had spent 6 months learning how their captors thought. Now she led a team of 24 humans, all experts at getting into places they didn't belong. They called themselves the Ghost Squad, and they had been hunting for 18 months. Lisa checked her wrist device. The target was sleeping deeply, helped by a mild sedative they had introduced into his water supply. His guards were at their posts but wouldn't check on him for another 2 hours. Plenty of time. She dropped silently from the ceiling vent, her feet making no sound on the floor. The bedroom was large and fancy, with expensive furniture and art from dozens of worlds. Some of it had probably been stolen from Earth's museums. Korath stirred slightly as she approached but didn't wake up. The sedative was working perfectly. Lisa activated a small device that created a brief energy field around them both. To any sensors watching, they would both appear to have vanished. When Korath woke up, he was in a small white room with no windows. The walls looked like metal, but when he touched them, they felt warm like living tissue. A voice spoke from speakers he couldn't see. "Good morning, General. I hope you slept well." Korath recognized the voice immediately. Admiral Jake Morrison, the human leader he thought he had killed 2 years ago. "This is impossible," Korath said. "You're dead. All of you are dead. That's what you were supposed to think. Look through the window, General." A section of wall became transparent, and Korath found himself looking into a vast chamber. Row after row of prison cells stretched into the distance. In each cell was someone he recognized. Military leaders, politicians, traders, scientists, all the people who had been disappearing, all the people who had participated in Earth's genocide. Welcome to justice, General. You destroyed our world. You murdered our families. You celebrated our extinction. Did you really think there would be no consequences? Korath pressed his face against the transparent wall. There were hundreds of cells, maybe thousands. Representatives from every species that had voted for Earth's destruction. What do you want? He asked. The same thing you wanted when you attacked Earth, to send a message. But unlike you, we don't murder civilians. Everyone in this facility is a war criminal who participated in genocide. They will be treated fairly, fed properly, and given medical care. Then what's the point of capturing us? Morrison's voice got colder. The point, General, is that your people are learning what it feels like to be afraid. For 2 years, you've been celebrating the extinction of humanity. Now your leaders are vanishing one by one, and your military can't protect them. A door opened in Korath's cell, and Lisa Harper walked in. She looked older than when he had last seen her. Harder. Her diplomat's smile was gone, replaced by something much more dangerous. Hello, Vex, she said, using his first name without permission. I wanted to thank you personally. Thank me for what? For teaching us who our real friends are. Before Earth died, we thought the galaxy was full of civilized beings who shared our values. We thought wrong. You showed us that the galaxy is full of cowards and murderers who will commit genocide based on lies. Lisa walked closer to the transparent wall. Do you know what we found when we investigated your evidence against Earth? Korath said nothing. It was created by a military intelligence unit on your homeworld. Photos, documents, video recordings, all completely fake. You spent months preparing that evidence, planning Earth's destruction down to the smallest detail. We did what was necessary to protect the galaxy. Lisa laughed, but it was not a happy sound. You did what was profitable. Earth was becoming too successful, too influential. The other species were starting to prefer human technology, human culture, human values, so you decided to eliminate the competition. That's not true. It doesn't matter if it's true or not, Vex. What matters is that you succeeded. You killed our world. You murdered our people. And now you're going to spend the rest of your life watching your civilization learn to live in fear. Lisa walked toward the door, then stopped. Oh, and Vex? We're just getting started. So far, we've only taken the war criminals, the people who actually planned and carried out the genocide. What do you mean? Lisa's smile was terrible. I mean that Phase 2 begins tomorrow, and Phase 2 is when we start taking your families. The emergency session of the Galactic Council was chaos. Representatives from dozens of species shouted at each other in their native languages. Translators worked overtime trying to keep up with the angry voices filling the chamber. High Chancellor Vex Korath had been missing for 3 days. So had his top military advisors, his family members, and half of his government. The same thing was happening across the galaxy. Anyone connected to Earth's destruction was vanishing without warning. Order, order, shouted the current council president, an elderly crystalline named Prism Lord Clearstone. His crystal body flashed with frustrated colors as he tried to control the meeting. How many more? Demanded Senator Lux 7 from the hegemony of suns. How many of our people have these terrorists taken? Latest count is over 8,000 missing persons, reported Security Chief Vex 9, speaking for the absent Zephyrian delegation. The pattern is clear. They are targeting everyone who participated in or supported the Earth operation. But that's impossible, declared Trade Minister Q-Rex from the Outer Rim Alliance. The humans are extinct. We made sure of it. A new voice cut through the noise. Cold, calm, and completely human. You made sure of nothing. Every head in the chamber turned toward the main viewing screen. The image showed a man in a simple military uniform standing in what looked like a command center. Behind him, through large windows, they could see massive warships and construction facilities. Admiral Jake Morrison, gasped Clearstone. You died 2 years ago. Reports of humanity's death have been greatly exaggerated, Morrison replied. His voice echoed through the silent chamber. But reports of your war crimes have been completely accurate. The camera pulled back, showing more of the facility behind Morrison. Row after row of prison cells stretched into the distance. In each cell was someone the council members recognized. Their friends, their colleagues, their family members. You destroyed our world, Morrison continued. You murdered 4 billion innocent people. You celebrated our extinction. Did you really think there would be no consequences? Morrison gestured, and the camera moved to show a different section of the facility. Here the cells were larger and more comfortable. Children played in recreational areas while adults watched nervously. These are your families, Morrison said. Your children, your spouses, your parents. Unlike you, we do not murder innocents. They are safe, well-fed, and unharmed. But their future depends on your choices. Senator Lux 7 found his voice. What do you want? Justice, reparations, and guarantees that this will never happen again. Morrison's image was replaced by a detailed list of demands. Complete withdrawal from all former human colonies. Payment of war damages equivalent to rebuilding Earth. Dissolution of the current Galactic Council. And formation of a new government with human oversight. You have 72 hours to comply, Morrison said as his image returned. For every hour you delay, one war criminal dies, starting with the ones who planned this genocide. The transmission ended, leaving the council chamber in stunned silence. This is outrageous, Senator Lux 7 finally shouted. We cannot negotiate with terrorists. They're not terrorists, said a quiet voice from the back of the chamber. They're survivors. Everyone turned to look at Ambassador Gentle Current from the Peaceful Reach, a species that had tried to vote against Earth's destruction 2 years ago. I was there when you presented your evidence, Gentle Current continued. I saw the fear in the human delegation's eyes. They knew they were innocent, but none of us believed them. The evidence was solid, insisted Security Chief Vex 9. The evidence was fabricated, said another new voice. This time the speaker was in the chamber itself. A Zephyrian intelligence officer named Subcommander Rex 4 had entered through a side door. He looked terrified and exhausted. Subcommander, you should not be here, Vex 9 said sharply. I should have been here 2 years ago, Rex 4 replied. I should have spoken up when I discovered the truth about Operation Human End. The chamber fell silent again. The photos were created using computer simulation, Rex 4 continued. The documents were forged using stolen human military codes. The weapons in the videos were our weapons, painted to look like human technology. That's impossible, Clearstone said. Our intelligence services verified everything. Our intelligence services created everything. I have the original files, the production records, the payment authorizations. High Chancellor Korath ordered the creation of false evidence to justify attacking Earth. Rex 4 activated a portable holographic projector. Images filled the air above the council chamber. Military documents marked, Top Secret, Operation Human End. Budget allocations for Evidence Creation Division. Video files labeled, Staged Human Base Take 7. The humans were telling the truth, Rex 4 said. They never built planet-killing weapons. They never threatened anyone. We murdered 4 billion innocent people based on complete lies. The chamber erupted again, but this time the anger was directed at each other instead of at the missing humans. Even if this is true, Senator Lux 7 said, we cannot bow to their demands. If we give in to one terrorist group, others will follow. They are not terrorists, Ambassador Gentle Current repeated. They are the survivors of genocide, demanding justice for their murdered families. Justice? Vex 9 laughed harshly. They have kidnapped thousands of our people. We kidnapped their entire species, Gentle Current replied quietly. 4 billion people, including children and babies. At least our people are still alive. The argument continued for hours. Some species wanted to negotiate. Others demanded military action. A few suggested surrender. None could agree on a course of action. Meanwhile, in his cell on the human facility, General Vex Korath watched the council session on a small screen. He could see his fellow Zephyrians arguing about whether to save him. Most seemed more concerned about their own political careers than his life. Admiral Morrison appeared in Korath's cell, walking through a door that materialized in the wall. Enjoying the show, General? They'll never give in to your demands, Korath said. The galaxy doesn't negotiate with terrorists. You're right about one thing, Morrison replied. The galaxy doesn't negotiate. It just commits genocide when faced with problems it doesn't understand. Morrison sat down across from Korath. Do you know what we found when we analyzed the attack on Earth? I'm sure you'll tell me. We found that it wasn't just about eliminating a threat. Your people studied our weaknesses for months. You timed the attack for maximum civilian casualties. You specifically targeted hospitals, schools, and refugee centers. Morrison leaned forward. That wasn't military strategy, General. That was pure evil. We did what was necessary. Oh no, you did what was profitable. Earth was becoming too influential, too successful. The other species were starting to prefer human values over yours, so you decided to eliminate the competition permanently. Morrison stood up and walked to the transparent wall overlooking the other prison cells. But you made one critical error, General. You assumed that destroying our home world would destroy our spirit. You thought we would curl up and die like good little victims. What's your point? Morrison turned back to face him. My point is that you created something much worse than the threat you were trying to eliminate. Before Earth died, humans were peaceful, trusting, eager to cooperate with other species. Now we're something else entirely. What are you now? Morrison's smile was cold as space. Now we're your worst nightmare. We're humans with nothing left to lose and all the time in the galaxy to plan our revenge. The communication system activated, and Lisa Harper's voice filled the cell. Admiral, the council session is breaking up without a decision. Should we proceed to Phase 3? Morrison never took his eyes off Korath. What's Phase 3? The general asked. Phase 3 is when we stop taking prisoners and start taking planets. The 72-hour deadline passed with no response from the Galactic Council. Admiral Morrison stood in the command center of New Terra, watching the clock count down to 0. Around him, his staff waited for orders that could change the galaxy forever. Sir, reported Captain Alex Stone, our scout ships confirm that the Council is still arguing. No agreement, no unified response. Some species want to negotiate, others are preparing for war. Morrison nodded. He had expected this. The same beings who could unite to destroy Earth couldn't unite to save their own people. They were cowards at heart, brave only when attacking those weaker than themselves. Admiral, said Dr. Peter Hayes from his station, are we really going to do this? Phase 3 means civilian casualties. It means becoming the same monsters they are. Morrison looked at his old friend. Dr. Hayes had lost his wife and 2 children when Earth burned. They had been visiting his sister in London when the alien fleet arrived. Peter, what do you think our families would want us to do? Dr. Hayes was quiet for a long moment. They would want justice, not revenge. Then that's what we'll give them. Morrison activated the galaxy-wide communication system. His image appeared on screens across thousands of worlds. People of the galaxy, your leaders have chosen not to respond to our reasonable demands. They prefer to let their war criminals die rather than admit their crimes. So be it. Morrison gestured and the image changed to show the prison facility. General Korath and the other military leaders who had planned Earth's destruction stood in a line. They looked scared but defiant. These beings murdered 4 billion innocent humans based on fabricated evidence. By the laws of every civilized species, including their own, they are guilty of genocide. The penalty for genocide is death. The image changed again, now showing Dr. Hayes standing in what looked like a laboratory. However, we are not like you. We do not murder innocents and we do not seek revenge without purpose. Dr. Hayes, please explain what we discovered. Dr. Hayes stepped forward, his scientific demeanor unchanged despite the circumstances. 2 years ago, while investigating Earth's destruction, we detected unusual energy signatures in this nebula. What we found changed everything we thought we knew about galactic history. The screen now showed images of massive structures floating in space. They were clearly artificial but built with technology far beyond anything the current galactic civilizations possessed. These are precursor installations. The beings who built the galactic transport network millions of years ago never disappeared. They withdrew to pocket dimensions, waiting for the younger species to evolve beyond their violent nature. The camera moved inside one of the structures, showing beings of pure energy contained within crystalline forms. They were beautiful and terrifying at the same time. The precursors, who call themselves the architects, have been watching galactic civilization with growing disappointment. The constant wars, the casual genocide, the destruction of entire worlds for political gain. They concluded that the younger species were not ready for advancement. One of the architects stepped forward and spoke in a voice that seemed to come from everywhere at once. For 10 million years we have waited, the being said. We have hoped that wisdom would grow alongside technology. Instead, we have seen only repetition of ancient mistakes. War, hatred, the strong destroying the weak. Morrison appeared beside the architect. The architects were prepared to abandon this galaxy entirely, to seal the pocket dimensions and leave you all to destroy yourselves. Then Earth was attacked. We observed the humans' response to genocide, the architect continued. Instead of seeking random destruction, they pursued specific justice. Instead of abandoning their principles, they held to them even in their darkest hour. They showed us that not all younger species are hopeless. The transmission changed again, now showing vast fleets of ships unlike anything ever seen. They moved with impossible grace, powered by energy sources that made fusion reactors look like candles. The architects have decided to give galactic civilization one final chance, Morrison announced. But that chance comes with conditions. The old order has proven itself unworthy of advancement. A new order will take its place. The image split to show scenes from across the galaxy. On dozens of worlds, architect ships appeared in the skies. They made no aggressive moves, but their presence was unmistakable. Every species has a choice, Morrison continued. Accept the new order, with humans as the guiding authority, or be left behind when the galaxy advances to the next level of existence. High Chancellor Korath, watching from his cell, finally understood. The humans hadn't just survived Earth's destruction. They had made contact with beings who could reshape reality itself. This is impossible, he whispered. Morrison appeared in his cell one final time. You're right, General. By your standards, this is impossible. You can't imagine a species that values justice over revenge, cooperation over conquest, growth over destruction. What happens now? Now you face judgment. Not human judgment, but the judgment of beings who have watched your crimes for millennia. The cell door opened, and Korath found himself standing in a vast chamber. Around him were thousands of other prisoners, all the beings who had participated in Earth's genocide. Above them floated dozens of architects, their crystalline forms glowing with inner light. One architect spoke, its voice filling every mind simultaneously. You stand accused of genocide, the systematic murder of an entire species based on fabricated evidence. How do you answer? Korath tried to speak but found he couldn't lie. The truth poured out of him without control. Guilty. We knew the evidence was false. We attacked because humans were becoming too successful, too influential. We feared they would replace us as the galaxy's leaders. The architect's response was swift and final. Your punishment is to watch the galaxy you tried to preserve become everything you feared. Humans will indeed lead this galaxy, not through conquest but through the wisdom you lack. Morrison's voice echoed through the chamber. The war criminals will be returned to their homeworlds to face justice under their own laws. The civilians we captured will be released immediately with our apologies for frightening them. And the new order? Asked one of the other prisoners. The new order begins today. The Galactic Council is dissolved. In its place will be the Galactic Cooperative, led by a joint human architect council. Wars of conquest are finished. Genocide is impossible. Any species that chooses violence over cooperation will simply find their weapons don't work anymore. 5 years later, Admiral Morrison stood in the Memorial Garden on New Earth. The rebuilt planet was more beautiful than the original, with crystal cities that grew like living things and oceans that sparkled with bioluminescent life. Around him, human children played with young beings from dozens of different species. The Zephyrian cubs were teaching human kids how to change their skin color. Young crystalline were learning to sing human lullabies. The small furry ones from the outer rim were sharing their knowledge of mathematics. Lisa Harper joined him at the memorial wall, where 4 billion human names were etched in living crystal that glowed softly in the twilight. Any regrets, Jake? She asked. Morrison thought for a moment. I regret that it took a genocide to teach the galaxy how to be civilized. I regret that billions had to die before wisdom prevailed. But no regrets about what we did? None. We gave them justice when they expected revenge. We offered cooperation when they demanded submission. We built something better instead of just destroying what existed. Above them, an architect ship passed silently through the evening sky, its presence a reminder that the galaxy was no longer alone with its violent impulses. Do you think they learned their lesson? Lisa asked. Morrison smiled as he watched a group of former enemies sharing a meal together in the garden. Some of them have. The ones who haven't will have plenty of time to think about it. The memorial wall pulsed with soft light, each name representing a life lost but not forgotten. The children playing nearby didn't fully understand what the wall meant, but they knew it was important. They knew that something terrible had happened before they were born, and something wonderful had grown from it. The galaxy had learned the hardest lesson of all. Sometimes, The species you try to destroy becomes the one that saves you from yourself. And sometimes the best revenge is building a better world than the one your enemies tried to protect.